Hello, Kadenians, and welcome back to the Kadena Campfire, community call number 22, this time featuring Swarms Finance. My name is Tyler Benster. I'm the tech adoption lead here at Kadena Eco, and we have an awesome group of folks with us all here today. I'm going to welcome them all onto the stage. We have Amir, we have Cam, and we have Curtis. Gentlemen, good morning, good evening, hello.
Hey, how's everybody?
Hello.
Yep. Good morning. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon for some, I guess. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, super stoked to have all of you here. We will get to intros here in just a moment. But first, I want to actually give some updates. You know what? I take it back. Let's find out a little bit, just briefly, about who each of you are, and then we'll get into updates and the meat of it. But just to give people a little bit of time to start thinking about questions. I know we already have a lot of folks coming onto the stream. You've heard about the third wave, KDA whale, now hear about the third whale. That's the first comment I see, so congrats on having the first comment of the stream. Hello, what's up, Web3? Got a lot of folks here. Welcome, everyone. See some bees in the house. We got some wizards in the house. Incredible. Cameron Krieger, One Hit Quitta, welcome, everyone. So maybe I'll throw it towards Amir first. Amir, would you mind just giving a sentence or two about yourself and how you find yourself here today?
Sure. Happy to be here. And really, I'm kind of a full-time, at this point, packed JavaScript Python developer. Really just kind of focused on projects on the blockchain. And as far as why I'm here today, I work alongside Squeegee on Swarms Finance, and really just helping kind of smooth out some of the integrations that we'll be able to do in the future with Swarms.
Awesome. Very good. Curtis, you're up next on my weird little left to right second row thing.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. Yeah, Curtis Caudill. I do business development. I was lucky enough to meet Squeegee probably about 2 years ago when this idea came to fruition, and have done a lot of the kind of administrative type of things, making the DAO legal entity, and working with other projects and people trying to get this thing rolling. So a lot of the non-dev stuff, business side, is what I've been doing.
Right on. All right, and last but certainly not least, Cam.
Yeah. Pardon me. Hello, everybody. Cameron Bright, spokesperson for Swarms and kind of the marketing guy for now as well. And yeah, that's about that. Some of you might know me from my spaces I used to do and everything. And yeah, I was lucky enough to get considered for the role, and happy to be here and happy to be a part of the team. And yeah, I guess that's enough for me.
Hell yeah. And this is really fun for me because I think I've come across, Cameron, I've come across you before on Twitter Spaces, but we've never had a chance to actually chat face-to-face, so this is awesome. And Swarms Finance has been really making waves. There's been, tendrils in the chat over the last few weeks of people mentioning Swarms, and then someone dropped information about the launch last week when we had the campfire, and that was freaking exciting and really awesome. So what great timing here to have a little bit of foreshadowing and now have you folks on. So we're going to talk everything Swarms Finance in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to jump into some updates as we like to start off things. So the first update on the Kadena side of things is that Kadena will be at ETHCC in Paris. And there is a tweet about that, which we will post down below here in just a moment. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So this is July 17th to 20th, which is literally right now. So come by, say hello. If you have me in Paris, definitely try and find out the Kadena team. There's a lot of folks, especially on Randy's team, which are based in Amsterdam, that are out there today. So very, very exciting, meeting some of the next generation of Kadena developers. All right, next up, we have a project spotlight with the Lynx wallet that just got posted on Medium. So this is pretty freaking sweet. Lynx is well, if you haven't heard about the chainless wallet building on Kadena Lynx, you should definitely go check it out. They try to really eliminate a lot of the complexities associated with Web3 technology and make a a very empowering wallet that is simple to use. So really great to have options like links on Kadena, and the bigger the ecosystem, the healthier the options, the more friendly competition, and the more we all benefit from the great work of developers. Third, we have the release of the first packed course in the Kadena Academy that is now live. So this is pretty slick. The first packed K:/ORS course, explore mastering functions in Pact and level up your skills. And don't forget to collect your Kadena learning points along the way. Next step, KLP will be on chain. So awesome way, not just to learn if you're motivated just by the sake of learning new skills like the add function, subtract function, sum function, straightforward for building a calculator. But beyond that, you can collect that KLP. All right, pretty cool. And let's see here. We have at least one other news story. Let me collect myself. Of course, introducing Chain Web Stream. Poll less, do more. So again, another great Medium post here. A new system that enables persistent streaming of transactions and their confirmation status. So this is another developer-friendly experience where if you're trying to make a user experience, user interface, here's a middleware server, if you will, that can perform all the polling tasks on your behalf and expose the streams of transactions to clients. So this is part of the story of how do we make Web3 more user-centric and more human-centered in general. And we're all collectively chipping away at this one step at a time, trying to make Kadena and Web3 and blockchain a simple process to use, something that should be as easy, if not easier, than in the Web2 world. So pretty exciting update there. And with that, that summarizes the updates I have for you on the Kadena and Kadena Eco side of things. And so we're going to jump into some topics to discuss about Swarm's finance. So I know there's a couple pre-asked questions on Discord and Twitter, and so we're going to get to those for sure. We also welcome questions in the comments here. I'm going to start off with a little bit more structured discussion with Swarms, just because it's a project that we may be introducing to many of you in the community for the first time here today. This is also my first time chatting with the Swarms team, so I'm really excited to dive in and learn more about what they're up to, as I've been hearing this project mentioned so much over the past few months. It's actually ridiculous how often it comes up organically. So without further ado, could I ask one of you to kick off and introduce what is Swarm's finance?
Well, I can take that question. So Swarm's finance is a DAO maker. We are a DAO that has created a DAO maker. And for those that don't know what that means, a lot of you are probably attracted to crypto because of the playground of monetary policies that exist between coins and projects. And this is that, but in governance. So whereas a corporation has a very top-down structure with your CEO, CFO, mid-layer management, and then a lot of your work gets done by that bottom layer, a DAO is an organization where, in our particular case, everybody has an equal say. Anybody can put together a proposal. Anybody can vote on a proposal. That goes from everything from marketing plans to how we spend the Kadena in our vault. And what we offer is we've built a platform where anybody that has a Kadena wallet can build a DAO, build a team, involve the community, and even toggle those structures and create the governance structure the way that they want, down to some very specific details.
All right. Very, very cool. So we have some themes here around DAOs and DAOs tooling, and some treasury management, and there's a lot to unpack there. So I definitely want to hear more. Maybe just to help guide the discussion, I'll pose this next question. What challenges did you face while building?
I can start with that. Maybe from a technical implementation standpoint, any developer on any blockchain will know exactly what I'm talking about. But gas, right? The cost of gas on Kadena is extremely cheap, right? It's not cheap in the sense that it's a cheap process, but we can do a lot of things. And when you have other blockchains, you have to worry about that a little bit, because you can get into a situation where gas becomes cost prohibitive to do certain simple functions. And so it's just it sometimes gets overlooked a little bit. And I think when you're building something so complex, and it's the same thing with any other tool that creates a product, right? And so having large lists, having tons of members, having as many votes as you want, all of those things contribute to another piece of gas, which is there is a limit how much you can send at any one time. And so you kind of have to balance those things. And luckily for us, it's more of a the size is what matters, not necessarily the quantity of every transaction costing so much. But really, when you're working with anybody, like I said, anybody who's seen this before, when you're working with very complex data structures in Pact, you have to be extremely careful, or you can quickly run up those gas fees, which make your commands not even go through. And so I think probably one of the biggest challenges, and I sat next to Squeegee while he was, I wish he could have been on here, and he probably could, you'd see it on his face. But really, just as he was working through functions, and we were talking about what's an efficient way to do this and things like that, I'd say for me, that seemed to be the most difficult thing. And anytime you're building something new, right? This is all brand new for the Kadena blockchain, right? There's no recipe. There was no, here's a DAO, go copy our code. It was just coming, as we go along, and then we refine, we retune. So I think that whole iterative process itself, that was good, but it was challenging, right? And that's, I think from a developer standpoint, that's exciting, right? We get to build new things, and there's something powerful about that. And I think that as you think about, any project, you're going to run into those things, and it's really important from a foundational standpoint to make sure you're accounting for those things.
Right on. So I definitely want to dive into deeper detail and understand how Swarm's Finance's existing features are enabling DAOs today, and what's going to happen in the near future. But first, I spotted a great question in the chat I wanted to bring up that maybe will help frame some of this discussion as people consider what DAOs look like and what kind of use cases we might want to keep in mind. So this is from Ron the Wizard. Can one of you tell me what you think would be the coolest way to use a DAO?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty open question, considering, we've, Curtis and I specifically have been kind of thinking of, I guess you could say the outside of the box ways to really kind of bridge the gap, not only between, other blockchains and coming to Kadena and using DAOs, but as well just bringing it to the Web 2 and more standard, realm, I guess you could say. So yeah, like, really, we have no idea what the coolest use case is as of yet. We could say maybe this right now, but no one's really built any DAOs other than just, asset management, right? Where really a DAO structure can be used in pretty much any facet of life when you really break it down. Like, we had a guy that I know just from another ecosystem came into our chat, maybe like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. And he had the idea of trying to start up like a microgreens farm, that he also wanted to start like a farming co-op. And he was like, could I do that with a DAO? And we were kind of like, yeah, in theory you could. So it's even things like that, where it's like a group of people pooling their resources together to run an online store that is supplied by them. That could be run by a DAO, but we had no, we didn't think of that until he kind of raised that question, right? And then it's really just navigating how best to implement a DAO, I guess you could say at that point. But really at this point, we have no idea. It's, I fully believe that we're at the tip of the iceberg as far as, DAOs specifically. As I said earlier, we've really only seen them, for asset management. I have one project that I'm a part of that actually ended up, they did it on Cosmos, but it's something that they could also do with us, just due to again, our the ability for gas stations, and the ability that our gas is so low that it's really negligible for massive amounts of people to vote on proposals. Well, I've seen projects gamify DAOs, so they've literally like led a storyline initiative, and that storyline gets spelled out in proposals, and so they were able to like choose a villain of their story and everything via proposals, and they kind of built this literal gamified experience to a DAO, right? It really just depends on the creativity and the team behind the DAO as far as what lengths they will bring that DAO to. So yeah, I mean, I wish I could say I know what the coolest use as of right now, but yeah, we have no clue. We're waiting for projects and individuals to come and kind of bring those ideas to us, and then expand upon them. So, oh, sorry, I got hair in my face. But yeah, yeah, I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, exactly, right? The invisible bees. But yeah, so yeah, I guess that's my long-winded answer. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's a fun thing to be in, like anything in Web3. As I said, we're just at the start of it, so it's going to be interesting to see how DAOs evolve over the next few years, and hopefully they do that with us at Swarms and Kadena. So
right on. So I would love to hear a little bit more about the recent launch. I know this is fresh on some folks' mind. Tell us what launched, how was the reception, and what's been going on there?
I'll take that one. So yeah, I think the launch went really well. We've had a lot of community involvement. We've got a lot of projects that are hopping on. I could probably name a few, but yeah, we've been in this beta mode for a while where we've had people come into our Discord and they would try it out, and they'd go back and forth with Squeegee and Amir on the issues that they might be having. So really, we were probably ready to launch a couple of months before we actually did. But Cam and I put together a marketing plan, and Amir and Squeegee put together a lot of bounties and different additions to our Discord. And launch day, everything went really smoothly. There was a couple of little hangups, but usually they were on the user side. And I think the reception's been great. I want to do a shout out to Skelly's project, I think, which is the largest DAO right now on Swarms. They took their NFTs and they captured all of the wallet addresses and made everybody a part of their swarm. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that. And we're in talks with some other projects on how we can be utilized and what we can do to help. So that's another part of kind of what we do is, and like Cam said, we built it, right? And rather than say what we think the best utilization of our platform would be, it's like, give us those ideas and we're here to support you, whether it's from a business development angle, whether, it's with Amir and development or Squeegee and development, Cam with marketing. Like, we're all here to help everyone build on our platform.
Amazing. So I think I can't resist here. I got to try and, of course, now that I put myself on the spot here, I got to deliver on sharing my screen here. I got to share the website, because how slick is this? We got Swarms Finance here, and got a nice little description, a simple tool for making DAOs in the Kadena Blockchain. Create a DAO anytime you want with anyone you want. If you vote over blockchain transactions together, create a swarm with your friends, family, team, whomever you want to, and you start voting on the future. So there's this cool interface. Of course, I've made a small window here, so I'm breaking things, but awesome. There we go. And we have Launch App and Academy. So I'd love to just hear, what are kind of the current features of Swarms, and what can people do today?
Amir, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I think some of the I see proposals coming through. So I stream to tie into what Tyler talked about earlier with the streaming server. I also stream all blockchain events, and so I have a streamer set up for Swarm specifically that I kind of track throughout the day. And what I see a lot of is treasury. I see a lot of proposals and I see a lot of add, remove kind of members from DAOs. And so I think when you think about like what the features are, I think those are the features, right? You have a proposal. Let me start from the beginning. So you set up your swarm, you add your members, you set up your rules. So let's say we want 75% of the members to vote to approve a proposal, or 50%, whatever it is that you want. That's up to you, right? And so you set that. Now you can add who's a member of that. And as Curtis said, the Skellies are really, really testing this out. I'm glad that it's working because, it's when you start doing things like rapidly like that, you're happy when it works, right? And not that I didn't think it would, but it's kind of like one of those fun things of like, well, they're really pushing it on day one and didn't expect that, but happy they're doing it. So those are like the core things, right? And then you can start treasury management, right? And I think treasury management's a big one, right? If you've got a project where you want to lock in funds and only be able to distribute those funds via DAO votes, right? You've got the capabilities to start doing these types of things, and you'll see anybody who actually does look at these will see a lot of interactions with the free.wiza. You'll see that, and I don't know if Ron did that, who's in here, but you'll see stuff like that. And I think like kind of start to finish, right? You have this product that it's not us giving you a page and say follow exactly as we tell you, right? The idea is this is your DAO, and we want to enable those DAOs. And so the features that exist today, kind of, I think we call them like they're not basic features because some of them are quite advanced, but the features we have today and the features that we'll have tomorrow really are designed to run an autonomous organization, right, via vote. And I think the current form serves that very well. A few people, like I said, are going to push those limits, and that will help us add features down the road, right, to make that easier, to make NFTs easier to use for authentication, for example. And anybody who knows me knows that that's going to happen at some point, and it's probably because I want it, and so I'll take that on. But things like that I think cover the majority of what a DAO has to do. So we have features in there that are must-haves for DAOs right now. I mean, Curtis, I believe we can store proposals in there too, right? We can store like actual documents in there.
So there is a spot for the charter. As far as the actual documents go, we use another partner, Flux. We use their cloud service to kind of put our creation documents, anything that a regular business would do. But I did want to touch on something that you said and kind of bring out Squeegee's voice here too, which is one of the main reasons why Squeegee decided that this was going to be his project this year and really kind of focus in on this was because he's worked with a lot of other people and teams, and we've seen a lot of rugs in the community early on because it's a young blockchain, and it's really important. The core team, you guys have your business entity, you've got everything going on, and but when it comes to the community building, there needs to be a place where everybody can build in a trustless environment and not one person run off with all the funds. So we allow that vault and those things to happen through swarms.
Right on. And I see a lot of community excitement here. I see that people want me to make a DAO right now.
Yes.
Go for it, Tyler.
All right. I mean, gosh, I need nothing like trying not to accidentally leak your private keys as you figure out.
I was going to say, make sure to sign into the burner.
I haven't done already. I've done it like 3 times now, and I still haven't learned.
No, but I just want to commend you folks on as I was sort of doing it live and looking through the documentation. Like, there's some. Not only is the website pretty cool and beautiful, but the documentation is pretty cool and beautiful. And I just want to commend you on having a really fully fledged launch here. The documentation website's amazing, and we kind of look through the sections, and everything's there that you need in order to get started here and create a DAO. And that's freaking sweet to have that at your fingertips. Like, I just think that's so freaking awesome to make that. And I saw some ideas here, like from Cloud, love this thought, Would love to see clan-specific DAOs for Wizards Arena or CAD Cars or any other game on Kadena. Yeah, absolutely, right? Opportunity to make DAOs around particular projects, opportunity to make DAOs around a purpose, like gaming on Kadena, opportunity to have a treasury and to use that to help seed projects. I think there's so much that can be done here that it's a really, really exciting time. Let's see here. I know we have some pre-asked questions that I have promised to get to, and we also have some questions filtering in here on the chat. So let's see here. Let's jump to one of the pre-asked questions here from Fudo. Like this question. I'm wondering how a DAO can be set up to balance between the volume of tokens each community member possesses, the vision of the founders, and the outcome of the vote. So what are some best practices, I suppose, for how to kickstart a DAO with reasonable parameters?
Well, that is a good question. So, we don't have any guardrails on this thing, right? And that's kind of the whole idea behind the playground is we're going to see a lot of different types of structures develop from this. And one of the things that I think I'm reading here in the question is, how do you balance it all? Well, I think a lot of it's just going to be trial and error. We're going to see a lot of DAOs that are going to pop up. Some of them are going to be very successful based off of the parameters that they put on their DAO, and some are going to crash and burn. I mean, if you've got DAOs that have voting parameters less than 50%, then a small majority can, claim the direction of the DAO. But yeah, we've got lots of different options. You've got a controlled DAO. In that controlled DAO, you can kind of spin it off. So somebody can come in or a team can come in and actually grant different people voting rights based off of what they've done. You could create a weighted DAO based off of tokens. And I think that's what we've seen the most of, where things kind of run away and people, and this is on other chains really, where people accumulate enough tokens to kind of become the whale that does all the voting and all the control. So, if that's a concern of yours, then create, a one-to-one equal DAO. Or, maybe a controlled DAO and spin it off into something else. But I think the answer to that really is we're just going to have to see. This is going to be a very kind of evolutionary type of experiment where some are going to do great, some are going to burn.
Hey, speaking of doing great and burning, it really feels like we should have a Kadena Campfire DAO.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll throw that out there. But I think there's a lot to experiment with here. We do some Twitter polls sometimes and have some of the community that inform some of what we do. But yeah, that'd be kind of a fun prototype. I'm sure Mateo or Jeff are listening to me say this and be like, oh, wait a second, did Tyler just sign up some work? But I don't know. I maybe give some reactions or thoughts here down below. Would love to hear what people think. But I love the idea of trying to further increase community engagement and finding ways that we can leverage Web3 infrastructure, like what Swarms Finance is building out, in order to run Kadena better, in order to run projects on Kadena better, in order to bring more people into the ecosystem and into the fold. I mean, KLP, whatever that's going to be. Kadena Learning Platform. Maybe there should be sort of some DAO that serves some advisory purposes there. I mean, I think there's so many opportunities for community engagement. And there's this vision, I think, in Web3 about how labor is no longer about being hired by a company or a project, needing to get that full-time job before you can start participating and contributing and earning, right? There's this more seamless on-ramp where people can start contributing to a project just because they join a Discord chat or just because they join a DAO. And so I think that's a really exciting vision that sort of reimagines this relationship between labor and capital, such that people can start working on what they're passionate about and find ways for retail to help finance projects and applications that they care about. All right.
Yeah, and to your point, though, you could easily do polling on the blockchain through Swarms. That's one of the options for a proposal, is you could say, to the community, hey, what is it that you think is the next most important step? And you could A, B, C, D it, and all those answers would be logged on the blockchain. So yeah, lots of different options.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of spitballing here, but now I'm wondering about like, oh, well, maybe, one of the disadvantages of Twitter is that we get votes from people that don't necessarily come through and watch the campfire. So it'd be pretty cool to do some kind of, I don't know, airdrop or some kind of disbursement of voting privileges based on who's actually here watching, and then sort of weight those votes more or something like that. I think there's a lot of stuff that one can explore.
I think that's where the badge of participation style NFTs come in, where I can't remember. I feel like it was, I don't know if it was a campfire or not, but it was a few weeks ago that we chatted with, of course, I can't remember the project's name, but they're building on Kadena, and they were building what are they, soulbound NFTs, I think they're called, or something like that. So yeah, NFTs that, you don't burn, you can't trade or sell. It's literally just in your wallet to show proof of participation, basically, right? So yeah, there is ways, to do it. We just have to wait necessarily for some to, build those features, I guess you could say.
Right on.
But yeah, and then to touch on the question as well, is it's I think with, it really comes down to the DAO itself and how they structure. I don't know if we necessarily have a way to, as it says in the question, balance between the volume of tokens each community member possesses, but that would just be in how you set up your voting structure. Is it one vote per wallet? Therefore, you are nullifying their actual balance of coin, or do you have it weighted in the fact that their power in the DAO is based off how much money they put into the DAO's vault? So again, that kind of all comes to how you structure your own DAO, which you can do either or with swarms. So yeah, I hope that possibly answers the question, but yeah.
Right on. All right, I have one other pre-asked question, which I think is related here, also from Fudo. How do you stop bad actors from gaining too much control and sabotaging a vote or project?
Well, I think that oh, go ahead, Cam.
I was just talking, Curtis, but you can cover this one.
Well, I think it's kind of an extension of our last answer. I think it really depends on how you set the DAO up. Like, do we have the perfect outline for that? We don't. I could tell you that in our particular DAO, we have a 1-to-1 voting system where Amir's vote and Cam's vote and everybody else's is all equal. So that's one way to do it. And we have a 75% approval ratio. So if out of the 6 of us, we have 75%, then it's good to go. So that's definitely one solution. But as far as the allocation of coins, if you're doing it weighted, I think that's a little bit more difficult. And I think that we're going to have to see people kind of figure it out on their own.
I think allocation based is always going to be inherently favoring whoever's got the most. It's not a bad thing, but it's never going to be a fair system when you're looking for, if you've got 5 people in a room and one person has 51% of the vote, that's the only vote you need. That's the only vote that counts. So when you're setting these up, you really have to, be strategic about that. And we guard against, the minority passing a vote, right? It's intentional that way. As people would expect that to happen. So I think just to tack on there, I just think when you set your swarm up, that's how you're setting it up to avoid those situations. So I would caution anybody who's going to do like a weighted DAO where it favors one person at that extreme. But I could see like a big project that has a token and wants to honor, hey, you have 3/4 of our token, but we're going to give you 20% of the vote, for example. Like you can do that kind of stuff. But it's going to require some math, and obviously we'll help where we can. But those are just use cases that jump into Discord, and we'll kind of help work out.
Awesome. I have to say I love seeing all the chats and questions and comments happening in the chat right now. I see Kadena Mining Club hopping in with a mini impromptu AMA here. That's pretty sweet. I see a DCF. Proposing some nice collab with different NFT projects on Kadena and Storms Finance. So that's pretty fun. Just love the overall ideation and energy happening right now. This is so cool. So keep it up, everyone. This is how you make dreams happen, is by planting a seed and getting others to rally behind it. And I think that's one of the beauties of the DAO, right? Is that you can take a meme, you can take some energy, whatever there may be, as long as you have a rallying cry that gets people organized, and you have the ability to raise treasury, you have the ability to create votes that can actually influence actions and influence ecosystems, then you have this way to actually formalize these structures into organizations that can then achieve change or achieve whatever direction or aim that is put out there. So I think that's just an organizing principle. What great tooling and frameworks in order to help coalesce community into organizations that can then enact action and enact change.
Well, and I think as well, it's kind of something like I've been chatting about with, people all over different blockchains and ecos. It's kind of the term rug, we call it, right? Where it's like in,
It's a dangerous word in crypto.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is for us, it's like we take a failed business, which most things that are coined a rug could literally just be that. The team might not have had any intent to lose everyone's money or fail or anything, but that's business. Sometimes businesses fail. They could be new to running it. They could be doing something. And so we kind of coin these projects with they're done because they rugged and blah, 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 where if those people were able to then reach out to their community and actually ask them certain questions that they honestly might not have the answers to, they could help, honestly, speculatively saying, they could help recover their project or at least recover their community by being transparent and actually bringing those people in and having those decisions be made by the community themselves, right? So it's something that, I think DAOs can help with a lot of these things, and it's something we have to understand that a lot of projects, at the end of the day, they could use some guidance and leadership and input from everyone involved, and especially from your investors, and so it's that's all I'll say on that. But yeah, it's just interesting because you never really know what the founders themselves are going through, and sometimes they just take on too much and then they don't know what to do, right? And it's like, if they have that ability to allow, again, their investors, their community, to put in their 2 cents and actually kind of control possibly their next steps, then yeah, that's what we hope to do. And it's as much as, the saved by pact, right? We hope to one day have a saved by swarms kind of thing, right? Where we can show the ideas that were almost like, they were saved by the community just due to a proposal and a vote going through that was crucial to their project's success or maybe demise, right? You never know. But, again, that's the world we live in. So yeah, but yeah, again, that's all I'll say on that. But I think it's an interesting fact of what DAOs kind of bring to the table again, when used properly and when thought out properly, they can be super, empowering and a super huge asset to a project, right? I mean, it's like anything with having a Discord with 10,000 people in it, or that might be a large one by any means, but any group of individuals that is your technical market, if you can get marketing, basically analysis from your investors, then why not take that advice and why not roll with what they want, to a certain degree, right? Depending on the project. So yeah,
Wow. And I have to jump in here. This is pretty cool. So first of all, I have to say that, I don't monitor or verify the chat for accuracy of announcements or information. Although people in the community generally are pretty forthright and forthcoming. But John Bedford says that, oh, well, that's the wrong comment. I created the DAO for Alpha Slayers a few days ago. More info soon in our Discord. So that sounds very exciting. Are you seeing some projects, top tier projects, hop on board and embrace the Storm's finance infrastructure? Anytime you can make the leadership more transparent, the better it will be for the project as a whole. So just want to say, very, very cool to hear that. It sounds like there's a number of projects and entities that are hopping onto Swarms. I was just wondering if you could briefly talk about the early adoption and who's been using Swarms and who's maybe going to be using Swarms in the near future, if you can mention, and what has been some of that discussion or early experience been like so far?
Well, I don't want to make any announcements on who may or may not be using it because a lot of those are still talks right now. I will say that there has been talks from actual core team members at Kadena that have talked about building a DAO. We do have several other large projects that are already existing in the Kadena ecosystem that are interested in using a DAO in some way, shape, or form. I did want to mention, if you don't mind, we have gamified our Discord a little bit. And if anyone wants to drop in the chat the invites so you can get experience, we give away bubblegum. Bubblegum is an NFT drawing platform where if you get a piece of bubblegum, you get to draw your own NFT and mint it on the actual Kadena blockchain. The image is not stored somewhere else. It's actually stored on Kadena. And we're also giving away actual Kadena for the top 10 winners in our experience sprint on Zeely right now. So hopefully, we'll definitely have some more partners. I know some of them have announced in the chat here. And just feel free to reach out to myself or Cam or Amir if any other projects that are watching are interested. Even if you're from another chain, we'll help you. We'll help you all the way.
Right on. The one thing we can't help with is Barbara Puma. We can't help you chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. The lawyers said we're not allowed to give an instruction on that. But anything else, we're game to help you with. All right. I know we have a couple minutes left here, and I gotta scroll back through here and catch up. I've been following the live chat, which has been very invigorating. But I know I've missed some questions here. So if I've missed your question, please feel free to repost it in the chat. That'll help with just finding it and jumping on it. But let's see here. I do want to ask a couple other things. We sort of have this vague idea of having some topics that we're going to discuss that I've now blared through in order to go to the live chat. So the one that's on top of my mind is, what are the future plans for Swarms Finance?
Well, I guess I can kind of touch on that. Our near future plans, I would like to say, are we kind of talked about one of the things we want to start, hopefully bringing in. It's a bit more as far as Amir and Squeegee on that end. We want to, one of the things we were chatting, I was chatting in the YouTube chat, with Ron, and we want to be able to allow NFTs to be vaulted. That's just something that we're waiting on Marmalade and everything to go to mainnet so we can actually figure that out. But that's something I think that's cool. Obviously, we want people to be able to manage all types of assets, including NFTs. And obviously, as a DAO, NFT communities, it would be awesome to be able to say for like Wizards, a team of friends or investors be able to train their wizards, but do it in a vault aspect, right? Where they can propose and say, we want to put this wizard up for this contest and blah, 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 blah. So we're constantly looking for ways like that, kind of standard wise, to bring in new features. But the more near future that we are going to be starting up is we've already got Zeely going. So there's tons of quests, tons of things you can do if you go to our Discord to earn points. I think right now, one of the main prizes is the old bubblegum. So come and get free bubblegum, basically, make some free NFTs. But we'll be implementing more things into that in the future. As well, we're just kind of working out I guess the structure of it, you could say, but we're going to be doing on almost like a DAO maker bounty. So we will have kind of like, as of now, we're kind of thinking of it as like a tier, almost like, you have to reach goal A, B, C, D. If you get through A, B, C, D, then you will be eligible for, a reward basically for coming and, say you make your DAO, you pass your first proposal, you reach X amount vaulted, and bam, now you're eligible, for a reward basically. So we're kind of thinking of just cool, interactive, engaging ways to bring in the communities, but also bring in, more DAOs and have them also be, interactive in a community sense, not just kind of like come here, make your DAO and be quiet, right? We want people to be proud of the DAOs that they're building and what they're building on Kadena, right? So I think that's kind of off the top of my head what we've got in the like near future of things that we're going to be doing. Obviously with launch happening, we're kind of waiting really again to have people kind of bring the problems to us, and then Amir and Squeegee get to solve those problems. but yeah, no. So yeah, that's really where I think we're at. Obviously, that's for me. I don't know if Amir on the dev side wants to mention, more of what they've been working on. If not, but yeah, that's all I've got.
Yeah, I'd like to. Thanks, Cam. I'll talk about it, and I'll try not to give away too much. But Squeegee and I, before the DAO even came out, had a couple conversations about, like, here's a V1, what does a V2 look like, right? Because we don't we like building things, and so making a DAO maker is cool. Now what can we do with it, right? And so it'll be it's not like a one and done, right? We've got other plans and things like that I don't want to get into too much because we don't have timing and things like that yet. But a lot of people might know, there's a Discord bot floating around. There's just a couple things left that need to get worked out in there. So theoretically, that Discord bot is meant for NFTs, and it's meant for streaming Swarm events. And so if you added this bot, you could interact with your Swarm through a Discord bot, right? You never have to leave Discord. You could do your voting through there. You can get your vote, things like that, just like you could from a website. And so when you think about that, what I'm building, and I don't really want to get into the NFT talk because that's not what this is about, but what I'm building, and there's a couple of the projects on here already know this because they've already talked to me about it, is the process where I can now automate. So I, as a, let's say you have a marketplace, you can, if you want to approve collections automatically, you can hook your DAO up, add community members. The plan is to do it in Discord. And then as a new collection comes up, it goes to vote. So the team working on the project leaves it up to the community to say, yes, this is a good project, everything's good. And then once they approve that vote, I listen to the back end and I take action. So I see that my Swarm, which is a hash ID, kind of like your tokens, I see that my Swarm approved this vote. I automatically trigger a blockchain command that moves my collection now into an approved status. And so when you think about like where we're at today, I talk about automation a lot. I talk about integrations a lot. This is like 6 different things integrating to do this, but any of the devs that are using streaming services today, any of them that are pulling from the back end of Pact will know what I'm talking about. It's really an extension of that. And so the features are there. They're just not, they're not meant for like easy consumption. Like a developer with a really rounded skill set could do this. What I plan on doing is just open sourcing the code so that anybody can take it and do it themselves. And so that's, to me, that's like an evolution of a lot of the products we have on chain today. It's not just the DAO, because it's gonna be used for other things too. But really, when we're talking about, I really want NFTs, but we're waiting for Marmalade V2. There's no sense in us going through that process. Some of the hooks are built off of Marmalade V2. So really, once that comes out, I think you'll see that ramp up a little bit more. But while we're getting to that point, there are people who are seeing this if they're part of our, if they're part of the testing on that side. So I think you'll see more and more about that. I like teasing things. So hopefully I don't give too much away today, but those are all things that have been either announced or I've talked to people about. So those are going to continue to work through. And that's what I consider like an evolution of our product, and just any product in general, just getting to that next step where you consume it anywhere, however you want it. I don't care. I'm just going to give you the tools to do that.
All right, we got time for maybe one. I want to make sure we get to Lefty Dave's question, so please pardon the interruption. People are scared of crypto right now, and that inhibits mass adoption. How are you going to bring the concept of a DAO, I assume he means DAO and not a concept of a dead on arrival, which is inherently Web3 to the Web2 business environment, so Web2 businesses will buy in? Do you have any specific strategies for that?
I'd like to take this one. This is actually one of my favorite topics, right? Because one of the big things about Web3 is there's a lot of barriers for adoption. Most normal people aren't interested in creating a wallet, writing down keys, or maybe there's a big learning curve. And this is kind of the beauty of a DAO, right? Is we can come up with these ideas and we get questions like this from the community that makes us think about it. And Kadena is really the perfect blockchain for this sort of thing to take mass adoption past Web3. And what I mean by that is Kadena has gas stations. So theoretically, you can produce a front-end point-and-click Web2-like interface that will still manage and log things on the Kadena blockchain and timestamp them. So it's very possible that you could bring people into Kadena in the Web3 environment and they don't even know that they're doing it.
Right on. I have to say the puns are absolute fire here in the chat here. I don't know if anyone has maybe that will be our ending conclusion is what's your best DAO pun? So I'm going to just sort of plant that seed right now. I got a few on my mind, like "Don't Stop Me Now." I think I might have seen that somewhere.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Or there's I think that great Flaming Lip song, "DAO You Realize," another classic.
Yeah.
Dowrio cookies. Yeah. We got some narrative ones too. Why did the DAO go to therapy? Because it couldn't decide whether it had too many trust issues or just needed to be a better smart contract. Yeah. Wow. That's a that's a good one. Wow. I like the noise beginning of the danger zone. Okay. We got okay, Web3. We'll post that just for a hot second.
I was gonna say that one killed me, but it might be a little offensive to some.
Yeah, Lefty Dave, thanks for the great question, man. That was awesome. Dowcade. Yeah. What's the best pun of the Dowcade? Yeah, there you go. All right.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Not at all. I was just going to say I'll give you one of two options or a yes and. Would love to hear if you have any closing thoughts or closing puns for us here today. And you can choose one of those two or yes and us. Amir, I'm going to go to you first since you're on the top right.
Sure. I mean, for me, I just challenge everybody, come in, make a DAO, come in and to Discord. That's probably the best place to interact with us at this point. We do ticketing. If you've got a question, throw a ticket in Discord, and one of us, Squeegee or I, or one of the other team members will get back to you. Don't be afraid to try it, right? If you've never done anything like this before, it's okay. Set one up. It's no skin off our back. We'd rather the community check these things out, give us ideas. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Tell us what talk with us, and we'll see what we can do. No promises, but we do try to be. We do try to make this experience for everybody. We're not trying to limit it to just one project. We want this to work, to really be your own product.
Awesome. I'm going to go to, let's see here. I'm going to go to, let's go to Curtis next.
Yeah, just some closing thoughts. It's been really awesome working in this DAO. I think one of the things that I heard once we kind of brought this idea up was, DAOs are inefficient, or they're clunky, or they're this and they're that. And what I've really learned working with these guys is we just all bring the best part of what we do to the table, and it works through the DAO. And I'd love to see other people come in and interact with us and set something up, and we're easily accessible and easy to get along with.
Awesome. And finally, Cam, any closing puns or thoughts from you?
Yeah, if anything, kind of to touch on what Amir was saying there, and I think something that we didn't really mention earlier at all either, between Curtis and myself, and obviously, Squeege and Amir being some of the best devs out there, if not, up there, out of the ones I know. But yeah, we do see ourselves as becoming kind of more of like an advisory group as well. Again, if you have any questions, like Curtis is amazing on the regulatory side of things. We are I think one of the only, if not the first, legally entity DAOs in the United States. That's not an easy thing to do in itself. Doing all the paperwork, all that fun stuff is Curtis's thing, and it's something that he wants to be able to also help others with. And so again, really, if you have any questions, whether it's, building a project, whether it's building a DAO, whether it's a dev-based question, just come into the Discord again and feel free to ask those questions, because yeah, we aim to help, and we, believe in the fact that, as we succeed and we help others succeed, it just reciprocates itself, right? So yeah, if you have any questions about anything, yeah, just reach out to us, come into the Discord, reach out on the Swarms account. We do have a few of us on our Swarms Twitter account as well, so someone will get back to you at some point. And yeah, that's I guess all I can say is definitely give us a shout if you have any questions about literally anything when it comes to Web3. We're here to help and hopefully help others build and grow, and as Kadena and outside the ecosystem as well, So yeah, that's all I'll say.
Right on. Well, since the three of you gave actually lovely, incredible, topical closing words, I'm going to go full meme and just give some closing puns and terrible, terrible DAO jokes. So don't mind me here as I take the stage for a minute or two. First up, why was the Kadena DAO feeling so secure? Because it had a proof of work ethic.
Oh my God.
Why did the Kadena DAO cross the road? To get to the other chain.
Mm-hmm.
How does the Kadena DAO organize its parties? It sets up a block party.
Mm-hmm.
We got some more. In case anyone is feeling like you need a little bit more. Why did the cryptocurrency join the DAO? It wanted token its appreciation. A little sus. Let's hear it. Stretch. This is a good one. I like this. What's a DAO's favorite game? Blockchains and ladders.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that, folks, that's all the DAO puns we got for you here, and many more in the chat. I look forward to the next time we have Swarms Finance on. Maybe we'll do some kind of DAO party. And beyond that, I expect the community to keep iterating on these puns. You got to help spread the word of Swarms Finance any way you can, whether that's building DAOs, onboarding existing Kadena projects or other projects into a DAO, or building existing organizations, new organizations, iterating on community. A lot of opportunity here. Swarms Finance, what an amazing project. So awesome to see this launch. Great documentation. Definitely go check out their website. And thank you all so much for joining us at this campfire.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for coming by. Thanks for the puns and the memes and the jokes and everything. It's been fun watching the chats and being in the chat. So thanks, Tyler, and yeah, thanks everyone at Eco and everything and Kadena and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, thank you, community. The support has been awesome, and yeah, thank you so much for hosting us. We really appreciate it.
Right on. Be well, folks.